Over 60, high creatinine. 3, healthy, nuts hurting your kidneys. Creatinine too high. Most people immediately think of medicine, strict diets, or scary words like kidney failure. But very few realize that something as simple as the nuts you snack on every day can quietly push your creatinine higher, even when those nuts are labeled healthy and heart-friendly. For many of us, nuts are not just food. They're memories. Winter evenings with warm roasted chestnuts, family gatherings with bowls of cashews and almonds on the table, while everyone talks, laughs, and watches TV together. Back then, nobody talked about creatinine, chronic kidney disease, or lab numbers. We just ate what tasted good and what made us feel cozy and full. Fast forward to today. Maybe you're in your 50s, 60s, or even 70s. You've started doing the right things, cutting down on junk food, avoiding too much sugar, switching from chips to nuts because everyone says they're good for the heart. But at the same time, your body feels different. You're more tired than before. Your appetite isn't the same. Your blood pressure creeps up. Maybe your ankles swell a little at the end of the day. It's easy to shrug and say, I'm just getting older. Yet for many people, those normal signs of aging are actually early whispers from the kidneys. A quiet message that filtration is slowing down and creatinine is starting to rise. On a printed lab report, it's just one small line of numbers. But that tiny line can reflect how hard your kidneys are working and how many healthy years you still have ahead. According to the CDC, more than 37 million Americans are living with chronic kidney disease, and about 90% of them don't know it. That means most people don't notice there's a problem until the kidneys are already under serious stress. They keep going about their day, snacking on foods they believe are safe, while creatinine slowly drifts upward in the background. The good news is this: you don't need to overhaul your entire life to start protecting your kidneys. Sometimes it begins with one small, gentle change, like knowing which 3 popular nuts can overload your kidneys when creatinine is high, and which 3 nuts can actually support filtration and calm inflammation instead. In this video, we'll walk together from awareness to action. You'll see how a few simple choices on your plate can give your kidneys less to fight against and more support to heal. If you've ever wondered whether your everyday habits are helping or hurting your kidneys, stay with me. By the end, you'll have clear, practical steps you can start using from your very next snack. 1. Cashews. Let's start with a nut that many people proudly call their healthy snack: cashews. They're creamy, rich, satisfying, and for a lot of older adults, cashews feel like a smart choice. Less junk food, more good. Fat. Good for the heart, right? The problem is that what's good for one organ isn't always gentle on another. For people with high creatinine or already reduced kidney function, cashews can quietly become a heavy burden. According to USDA data, just 100 grams of dry roasted cashews contain around 553 kilcalorie, about 18 grams of protein, and more than 660 milligrams of phosphorus. That phosphorus number is the real issue here. For someone with chronic kidney disease, many nephrology guidelines suggest keeping daily phosphorus intake around 800–1,000 milligrams. One generous handful of cashews can already take you close to 70% of that limit in just a single snack. When your kidneys are working normally, they can filter out extra phosphorus. But when creatinine is high, it usually means filtration is already slower than it should be. Excess phosphorus that can't be cleared properly begins to build up in the blood, contributing to artery calcification, bone problems, and further stress on the kidneys. Over time, this extra load can push creatinine even higher. Cashews also contain potassium. In a healthy person, that's not a big deal. But in someone whose kidneys are struggling, too much potassium can tip the balance towards irregular heart rhythms, muscle weakness, and higher blood pressure. 3 things we absolutely don't want in older adults with kidney concerns. Think about how you eat cashews. Do you measure them out, or do you eat them straight from the bag while watching TV, chatting, or scrolling on your phone? Do you ever check how much phosphorus and potassium you're taking in during a whole day? Or do you simply trust the label "healthy snack" and assume it's safe? If your creatinine is elevated or your doctor has mentioned early kidney problems, cashews may no longer be the harmless treat they once seemed. You don't have to fear them forever, but you do need to respect the portion and understand the load they place on your kidneys. 2. Almonds. The second nut on our list is one that often appears in every heart-healthy article and on every diet plan: almonds. They're praised for their vitamin E, healthy fats, antioxidants, and even their role in weight control. For many people trying to make better choices after 50 or 60, swapping cookies or chips for almonds feels like a big win. But here's the part that almost nobody talks about. Almonds are very high in potassium, and that can be risky when creatinine is high and your kidneys aren't clearing potassium as efficiently as before. According to the National Kidney Foundation, a 28-gram serving of almonds, roughly a small handful, can contain up to 200 milligrams of potassium. On its own, that number doesn't sound dramatic, but for someone with chronic kidney disease, many guidelines suggest keeping daily potassium intake around 2,000 to 2,500 millimeters. If you snack on almonds several times a day, it becomes very easy to climb towards that limit without even realizing it. Now add the rest of your diet: a banana in the morning, a tomato-based dish at lunch, some avocado in a salad, and suddenly your potassium intake is much higher than your kidneys can comfortably handle. The result can be hyperkalemia, a condition where potassium in the blood rises to unsafe levels. Symptoms of high potassium can be subtle at first: feeling more tired than usual, tingling or numbness, muscle weakness, or a sense that your heartbeat is not quite right. In more serious cases, it can lead to dangerous heart rhythm problems, especially in older adults whose hearts and kidneys are already under strain. Just 100 grams of almonds can contain over 700 milligrams of potassium. For someone with normal kidney function, that's still within the body's ability to manage. But for someone whose creatinine is elevated, that same amount can be enough to tip the balance. Ask yourself, do you eat almonds straight from the jar while reading, watching TV, or working? Do you think of them as unlimited because they're healthier than sweets, or do you treat them as a food that still needs a serving size? If your kidneys are already working harder than they used to, almonds might need to move from everyday snack to occasional, carefully portioned treat. Understanding this doesn't mean you must give them up forever. It simply means you're giving your kidneys a chance to breathe. 3. Chestnuts. The third nut on our be careful list is one that carries a lot of warm memories: chestnuts. For many people, chestnuts mean cold evenings, holiday markets, family gatherings, and the comforting smell of something warm and sweet from the oven or the street corner. Chestnuts feel gentle, soft texture, mild sweetness, lower fat than many other nuts. Because of that, many older adults assume they're a safe, light choice, especially if they have sensitive digestion or don't tolerate oily foods well. But when creatinine is high and kidney function is reduced, chestnuts can create another kind of problem. Unlike cashews or almonds, chestnuts are much lower in fat and protein, but much higher in starches and complex carbohydrates. These can make up around 80% of their total calories. That means chestnuts can raise blood sugar more quickly than many people realize. Every time your blood sugar spikes, your kidneys have to work harder to maintain internal balance, especially in older adults whose filtration is already slowing down. On top of that, chestnuts are high in oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds that, in excess, can contribute to the formation of calcium oxalate kidney stones, the most common type of kidney stones in seniors. According to guidance often referenced by Mayo Clinic, a daily intake of around 100 mg of oxalates over time can significantly raise the risk of these stones forming. And 100 grams of chestnuts can already bring you close to that threshold. Many people think chestnuts are soft, easy to chew, low in fat, perfect for older people, right? But what feels gentle on your stomach isn't always gentle on your kidneys. The kidneys can be damaged silently without pain while you enjoy what seems like a harmless seasonal treat. If you have a history of kidney problems, kidney stones, or you belong to a high-risk group for kidney disease, many health experts recommend being very cautious with chestnuts and, in some cases, avoiding them altogether. This doesn't erase the beautiful memories attached to them, but it does protect your kidneys from quiet, long-term harm. Think back to your own habits. Do you eat chestnuts regularly in the colder months? When you sit down with a bag of roasted chestnuts, do you pay attention to how many you eat, or do you keep going until the bag is empty? Being honest with yourself about these small habits is a powerful step. Sometimes protecting your kidneys doesn't start with big dramatic changes. It starts with saying, I still love chestnuts, but I love my kidneys more. By now you can see that not every good nut is kind to your kidneys, especially when creatinine is already higher than it should be. That can feel a little unsettling, almost like the rules have changed overnight. Snacks you trusted for years suddenly look less safe, and the things that once felt warm and familiar now carry quiet risks. But this isn't the part where we tell you to fear food or give up everything you enjoy. Your kidneys don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be a little more aware and a little more intentional, especially with the things you eat every single day without thinking. The comforting news is, just as there are nuts that overload your kidneys with phosphorus, potassium, or oxalates, there are also nuts that do the opposite, gently supporting filtration, calming inflammation, and working with your kidneys instead of against them. So in the next part of this video, let's shift from worry to action. We'll look at 3 kidney-friendly nuts that you can lean on when creatinine is high. Nuts that still let you enjoy the pleasure of snacking, while quietly giving your kidneys a bit of extra help with every bite. 1. Flax seeds. Now that we've seen which nuts can quietly overload your kidneys, let's start with a tiny seed that often gets overlooked: flax seeds. Most people know flax seeds as a skin and cholesterol superfood, but very few realize they can also be a gentle ally for your kidneys when creatinine is creeping up. Flax seeds are naturally rich in plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, lignans, and soluble fiber. For someone with high creatinine, that soluble fiber is especially important. It helps your body reduce levels of urine nitrogen and creatinine, 2 waste products that your kidneys are constantly trying to remove from your blood. A study published in 2020 in the journal Renal Failure followed people with mild kidney impairment who consumed 30 grams of flaxseed daily for 12 weeks. On average, their blood creatinine levels dropped by about 18%, a meaningful improvement, especially for older adults whose kidneys are already working harder than before. Flax seeds don't cure kidney disease, but they can lighten the load and support what your kidneys are already trying to do. There's more. Flax seeds contain alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 with strong anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the tiny tubules of the kidneys is one of the silent reasons filtration gets weaker over time. By calming this inflammation, flax seeds help your kidneys work in a smoother, gentler way instead of constantly fighting irritation in the background. However, to get these benefits, how you eat flax seeds matters. Whole flax seeds often pass through the digestive system almost unchanged. You see them, you swallow them, and they come out looking the same. To really absorb their nutrients, you need to grind them into a fine powder using a dry grinder. Once ground, store the powder in a sealed glass jar in a cool, dark place to prevent the healthy fats from going rancid. A simple daily amount is around 1-2 tablespoons or 10-15 grams. You can sprinkle flaxseed powder over oatmeal, stir it into plain yogurt, blend it into a smoothie, or mix it into warm water and drink it before your first meal. One more gentle reminder: because flax seeds are rich in soluble fiber, they soak up water in your digestive system. If you don't drink enough fluids, especially as an older adult, you might feel bloated or constipated at first. So when you add flax seeds to your day, pair them with good hydration. Your gut and your kidneys will both thank you. 2. Macadamia nuts. The next nut often surprises people: macadamia nuts. Many older adults look at macadamias and think, too rich, too fatty, too many calories. That can't be good for my kidneys. But when we look closely at their nutrient profile, a different picture appears. Macadamia nuts are made up mostly of healthy monounsaturated fats, the same general type of fat we praise in olive oil. In fact, about 78% of the fat in a 28-gram serving of macadamias is monounsaturated. Among these fats is omega-7, a lesser-known fatty acid that researchers have found can help regulate inflammation in tissues, including in the kidneys. A study published in the Journal of Functional Foods in 2021 showed that omega-7 can help lower inflammatory cytokines, the chemical messengers that drive chronic inflammation and gradually damage delicate structures like the kidney, glomeruli, and tubules. By calming this background inflammation, macadamia fats can support more stable, efficient filtration over time. There's another reason macadamias are kidney-friendly. They're relatively low in potassium and phosphorus compared to many other nuts. Around 100 grams of macadamias contain roughly 200 millimoles of potassium and about 188 millimoles of phosphorus, much lower than the numbers we saw with cashews and some other nuts. That makes macadamias a high-energy but gentle choice for people who need to control electrolytes and mineral load because of high creatinine or chronic kidney disease. Of course, gentle doesn't mean unlimited. Macadamias are still calorie-dense and high in fat, so portion size matters not just for your kidneys, but for your overall metabolism and weight. A simple, safe range for most older adults with kidney concerns is about 5 to 7 nuts per day. This works well as a mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack when your body can digest them without interfering with sleep. Whenever possible, choose raw or dry-roasted, unsalted macadamias. Extra salt raises blood pressure and adds yet another burden on the kidneys. If you're buying packaged macadamias, take a moment to check the label and avoid added salt, sugar, or flavor.